Is this the world's best instant coffee? What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I like coffee. Kind of gets me going in the morning. It's kind of like getting kicked in the butt, and it's a lot cheaper than paying someone to do that for you. So I picked this up. It's by Intelligentsia, and even if you're not part of the Intelligentsia, they will still let you buy it. The proof is right here. So this one is actually Instant Espresso Black Cat Classic, and it has notes of dark chocolate, raw sugar, and marshmallow, all things that I love. And one of the reasons that I got this is that I was just doing a little online reading. I wouldn't call it research, just kind of reading the reviews that people put out there. And a lot of people have said that this is the best instant coffee they have ever tasted. Now, I've tasted some pretty good instant coffee. The Starbucks Via coffee is pretty good, all the way down to Folgers Crystals, which can pass if you really need a cup of coffee. But because so many people said that this is the best instant coffee they've ever had, I thought I'd give it a try. Now, one of the interesting things is that on the back here, it actually has directions on how to make the different types of coffee. So you can make an espresso, macchiato, cappuccino, Americano, or a latte. And it's really just about adding the right amount of hot water. So I have boiled up a pot of water here, and I thought I would go ahead and try some of this. Now, I was thinking maybe make an Americano because I like a full, tall glass of coffee. And I think having an instant coffee like this actually means that I'm somewhere where I can't get a coffee, and I might want a full cup of coffee so that I can enjoy where I am. Let's say I'm sitting out by the lake or hiking through the woods or on vacation or have a scenic view or, you know what, stuck in a remote airport somewhere. I don't know that I'd actually want an espresso, something like this, so we'd gone in a few minutes. So I think a full cup of coffee is what I'd really want. Now, one of the things that I will say here is it wasn't cheap, and you only get 5 servings here. So you only get 5 of these little packets, and they are kind of interesting because they kind of are square packets like this. I'm used to them being a stick. So let's just go ahead and make up a cup of this. I'm going to do it in the glass here because I want you to see it. Otherwise, I would do it in a stone mug. And there's maybe not as much powder as I would have thought there would be in here. It does smell pretty good. It definitely has that chocolate smell as opposed to maybe just being a rich coffee smell. So I don't mind there being flavor in it, especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you are making an instant coffee. You probably don't have all of the little luxuries that you might have at home, say your cream and sugar or raw brown sugar or cane sugar or half and half or whatever you put in there. So this is what we get. All right. So like I said, not as much powder as I would have thought. Now here is my kettle, and I'm just going to go ahead and add that boiling hot water here. And I'm actually going to go up to what I'm eyeballing is about 8 ounces. I think this is essentially a 10-ounce glass here. And I see the crystals still on the bottom, so they will probably dissolve, but we're going to make sure they do by stirring this guy up. Now, if I were actually doing this for real out in the forest in a beautiful, picturesque setting, what I would probably do is I'd probably pour my hot water into my mug and then add the instant coffee mix on top of that so that it would start to dissolve and not necessarily stick to the bottom. I think I've got it all dissolved here, and I'm just kind of smelling it. You know, I kind of noticed that coffee smell, but it also struck me as very raisiny. So there is a lot going on here. You know, more in the, definitely in the chocolate fruit arena that it says on the package, which I don't think I'm going to dislike, but that's what it kind of looks like. A little cup of mud for you. Pretty hot here. So let's take a little taste and see what we think. Wow. That's pretty smooth. I will tell you what, I may have gone just a little heavy on the water. So I tend to like a little bit more of a bold, strong cup here. It's maybe just a little bit more watered down than I would like. So maybe I'd go that 6-7 ounces instead of maybe the 8 or 9 that I had in there. But it's still very good. And I tell you what, I do drink black coffee, but all things being equal, and if there are dressings for the coffee, I don't mind putting a little sugar cube in there or something like that. But this is pretty excellent just the way it is. And I will tell you, obviously coffee, but it has a little bit of like that sweet fruit flavor. Definitely kind of like grapes or raisins or something like that. Am I getting a lot of that marshmallow and chocolate? Maybe a hint of the chocolate, maybe smoothness of a marshmallow as opposed to like the sweetness of it. It just seems kind of light on my tongue and definitely is delightful. I mean, this is definitely a cup of coffee that I could enjoy watching the ocean or watching a sunset. So, is Black Cat Classic Instant Coffee worth it? I would say so. It's pretty expensive. You don't get a lot of packets for the money, but just as it is, it's a delightful cup of coffee. So if you want something that is very smooth, a little bit fruity, with maybe just a hint of chocolate. You are really going to like this. I'll put a link to Black Cat Classic in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.